gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Renata Solano. We'll break down the opening statements in the Lil Durk murder for hire trial, track tonight's sweltering heat wave that's turning our evenings into oven-like conditions, and give you the latest on I-210 lane reductions and a semi-fire. Bennett, what do you make of that?
The Echo Park Community Garden Harvest Festival returns Saturday afternoon, kicking off at 2 p.m. near the lake's south shoreline, offering residents a neighborhood celebration.
Live acoustic sets feature local bands, while organic produce stalls showcase growers and free gardening workshops teach composting, seed saving, and native plant care.
Admission is free. Limited street parking is available on Sunset Boulevard, and Metro Red Line riders can alight at Vermont Sunset for convenient access.
Lots to get to, let's begin, sharing the stories that matter to our neighborhood, the arts, local culture, and everything that keeps our community thriving together. Here are our top stories. Opening statements began today in the federal murder for hire trial of Grammy-winning rapper Lil Durk, accused of offering a bounty to kill an Atlanta rival. Wesley Tran has the full story.
Opening statements are underway in the federal murder for hire case against Grammy-winning rapper Lil Durk. Prosecutors allege Durk offered a cash bounty to eliminate a rival artist from Atlanta, framing the plot as a contract killing. Defense counsel responded by denying any involvement and portraying the accusations as speculative. The courtroom, packed with media and onlookers, heard testimony about text messages and alleged financial transfers that prosecutors say tie Durk to the scheme. The judge reminded the jury that the burden of proof lies with the government as the trial moves forward. The case marks a rare federal prosecution of a high-profile hip-hop figure today. Wesley Tran, GMNA News, Los Angeles.
An intense heat wave has tightened its grip on Southern California, with the National Weather Service warning that nighttime temperatures are climbing to uncomfortable levels across the region. Residents of Los Angeles and surrounding coastal communities are experiencing sweltering evenings that offer little relief after scorching daytime highs. Beachgoers report sand and water temperatures far above the norm, turning popular shoreline spots into heat traps. The Weather Bureau notes that earlier this summer temperatures were typical, but the current pattern shows a sharp uptick in both daytime and overnight heat. Officials say the lingering warmth increases the risk of heat-related illness and strains on the power grid as air conditioning demand spikes. The heat wave is expected to persist through the week, prompting health officials to advise staying hydrated and limiting outdoor activity during the hottest periods.
Video footage captured late Tuesday night shows a group of e-bike riders surging onto the 91 freeway in Long Beach, creating a dangerous blockage for motorists. The riders entered the high-speed corridor at roughly 7:55 p.m., weaving between lanes before police arrived and dispersed the group. Officials said the stunt put both the riders and the hundreds of cars traveling that evening at serious risk, and traffic slowed for several minutes while emergency responders cleared the scene. The incident adds to a growing series of viral videos where electric bike users perform reckless maneuvers on Southern California streets, prompting renewed calls for stricter enforcement of existing traffic laws. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department confirmed an investigation is underway, and the California Highway Patrol warned that violations could result in citations, vehicle impoundments, or even criminal charges.
A fire in an underground electrical vault has knocked out power to more than 20,000 homes and businesses in Long Beach, affecting over 25,000 customers. Southern California Edison is responding. Noel Kirkpatrick has the full story.
An underground vault fire erupted early this morning, sending a plume of smoke up through a manhole on Pacific Avenue. Southern California Edison crews arrived within minutes, but the blaze already ignited the surrounding cables, cutting power to more than 20,000 homes and businesses across the southern half of Long Beach. Initial estimates put the outage affecting over 25,000 customers, many of whom are still waiting for restoration crews to finish repairs. Firefighters used high-pressure water to douse the flames, while utility workers began the painstaking process of rewiring the damaged sections. Residents report that streetlights are dark and traffic signals are offline, creating slowdowns throughout the neighborhood. Noel Kirkpatrick, GMNA News, Long Beach.
Police responded to a robbery that escalated into a shooting near the Santa Monica Pier on August 24. Officers arrived after witnesses reported an armed suspect confronting a victim. According to LAPD, the assailant drew a firearm during the attempted theft and fired, striking the victim. The victim was transported to a nearby hospital with injuries, while the suspect fled on foot. Detectives are reviewing surveillance footage and have canvassed the area for witnesses. No arrests have been made. The incident occurred in the evening when the boardwalk sees heavy foot traffic. Officials said the motive appeared to be theft, though the use of a weapon escalated the crime. Crime analysts noted a recent uptick in violent robberies in the region. LAPD has increased patrols around the pier and urged residents to avoid the vicinity while the investigation continues. Coming up, we'll examine the century-old 10 a.m. rule may return to U.S. fire policy, plus more headlines. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. The Forest Service is weighing a return to the century-old 10 a.m. rule, a policy that once required every wildfire to be out by 10 a.m. each morning. For roughly 100 years, the agency measured success by that deadline, a practice that reshaped forest composition across the western United States. Officials say the rule fell out of favor as fire ecology research highlighted the benefits of letting low-intensity burns run their natural course. Now, with fire season severity climbing and communities demanding quicker protection, the agency is reviewing whether reinstating the 10 a.m. standard could curb larger blazes. The proposal would apply nationwide, though implementation details remain under discussion. Stakeholders from state fire agencies to environmental groups are expected to weigh in before any formal decision is made later this year. The review will be completed by the end of the year, and the agency hopes to issue guidance by early next year.
2 council members from Baldwin Park in Compton were sentenced to federal prison on August 24, 2026, for accepting bribes in exchange for actions, part of a Southern California corruption crackdown. Camila Arreola has the full story.
2 former city council members, one from Baldwin Park and the other from Compton, were each handed federal prison sentences on Friday, August 24, 2026, after a jury found them guilty of accepting bribes. Prosecutors said each took tens of thousands of dollars in exchange for official actions that benefited private interests. The sentencing marks the latest outcome in a series of corruption cases the Justice Department has been pursuing across Southern California. Both men will serve significant time behind bars, reflecting the federal push to crack down on local government misconduct. Their convictions send a clear message that public officials who trade influence for cash will face federal penalties. Camila Arreola, GMNA News, Baldwin Park.
California has moved to enforce what officials are calling the toughest defensible space standards in the nation, known as Zone 0. The new regulations, unveiled this afternoon, require every homeowner in Southern California to clear vegetation, remove dead brush, and maintain a buffer of at least 30 feet around structures. Firefighters say the buffer will give crews a safe perimeter to protect homes when wildfires surge through the hills. The rule also mandates regular inspections and penalties for non-compliance, aiming to cut fuel loads that have driven recent catastrophic blazes. State leaders highlighted that the measure follows years of severe fire seasons and the increasing frequency of Santa Ana-driven infernos. Residents will have 60 days to bring properties into compliance, after which violations could trigger fines or restricted access for fire suppression equipment. The initiative reflects a broader push to safeguard communities as climate pressures intensify across the Southland.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta scrapped a scheduled meeting today to discuss a possible settlement in the state's lawsuit challenging Paramount Skydance's planned acquisition of Warner Bros. Discovery. The cancellation followed a confidentiality snag that emerged after a prior discussion on Friday, prompting the AG's office to pull the talks. The lawsuit filed earlier this year seeks to block the deal on antitrust grounds, arguing the merger would give Paramount Skydance undue control over film and television content. Bonta's decision to halt settlement negotiations underscores the administration's resolve to pursue the case through the courts rather than a private agreement. The session was set for downtown Los Angeles, where the Attorney General's office oversees case. State officials said the breach could jeopardize privileged information. Industry observers note the dispute could affect consolidation efforts. Neither side disclosed further details, and the litigation remains active as the companies weigh next steps.
The California Supreme Court is hearing arguments on Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco's seizure of more than 600,000 ballots from a recent special election, alleging voter fraud. Julian Mercado has the full story.
Arguments rolled in Monday, as the California Supreme Court examined the Riverside County Sheriff's claim to seize ballots from last year's special election. Sheriff Chad Bianco told the justices the move was part of an investigation into alleged voter fraud, pointing to the removal of more than 600,000 ballots. County officials argue the seizure oversteps the sheriff's authority, while the court's conservative bloc warns it could set a precedent for future election interference. Lawyers for both sides sparred over whether the evidence chain was intact and if the action violated state election law. The justices asked for additional briefing before a decision later this term. The hearing took place in the historic courtroom on Capitol Mall, drawing attention from statewide legal observers and media crews. Julian Mercado, GMNA News, Sacramento.
Now let's get a quick look at tonight's forecast with our meteorologist.
A rising ridge of high pressure steers dry air over LA, keeping the evening clear and hot. On this date, the all-time high reached 91 degrees in 2021, a brief spike during a late summer heat wave that rattled the coastal breeze. The record low fell to 51 degrees in 2013, set during an unusual inland cold snap that pushed Arctic air far south. Normal highs hover around 89 degrees with lows near 64, so today's temperature sits a few degrees above the climatological average. The live radar screen shows a quiet backdrop across the basin. No echo circles the mountains or the coast, confirming the absence of precipitation. A dry, stable air mass rides on the high-pressure ridge, and the jet stream aloft slices the region without stirring moisture. With no rain cells in sight, the sky will stay clear through the night. At 6 p.m., the city basks in 90 degrees clear sky, humidity at 42%, and a gentle west wind at 8 miles per hour. High pressure is rising, capping the atmosphere and suppressing cloud formation. Overhead, the jet stream flows at 43 miles per hour from the southwest, reinforcing the ridge and funneling warm air eastward. The UV index reads 9, and wind remains below 16 miles per hour, so no gust concerns. No alerts are active. Expect the temperature to dip to 66 degrees after midnight as the ridge holds. Tuesday brings another 95-degree day, but cloud cover will increase, hinting at a slow return of marine influence. Wednesday spikes to 102 degrees under a clear sky, the ridge deepening as the jet stream arches north. Thursday climbs to 106 degrees, still clear, with the high-pressure core lingering inland. Friday's high reaches 108 degrees, but overcast conditions suggest a thin marine layer edging inland. Saturday eases to 100 degrees clear, offering a brief respite before the next system. The pattern showcases a hot stretch punctuated by occasional cloud cover, driven by a persistent high-pressure dome and a southwest jet stream. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates, today's lineup, and a deep dive into the Chargers roster highlights. Stay with us, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Westbound Interstate 210 is running at a reduced two-lane configuration at Altadena Drive, and a semi-fire is burning on the same stretch. Both factors are creating moderate delays through Pasadena and into Altadena. Expect a backup that could stretch a mile or two, especially during the next half hour. In Westwood, D-Line subway construction continues to close lanes on Wilshire Boulevard, producing intermittent slowdowns near the campus and the Westwood Village corridor. Drivers should anticipate a 5 to 10 minute loss of travel time there. Aside from those hotspots, the rest of the freeway network, including the 405, the 101, and the 110, is moving freely, and surface streets are clear. Looking ahead this afternoon, the Interstate 210 lane reduction will stay in place through the evening, so plan alternate routes if you're heading east toward Pasadena. Wilshire's construction will run through the weekend, so expect occasional congestion during peak periods. No transit service changes to report.
No big events on the calendar today, but the week ahead is buzzing. KCO in 2026, the world's biggest K-pop festival, lands in Los Angeles next week, turning the city into a non-stop dance floor and a must-see for anyone who loves high-energy live shows. The Broad is opening a free exhibition called Has the Myth Been Shattered, debuting this fall with more than a dozen new works that confront mass media and memory, perfect for a curious mind without spending a dime. California's largest record fair rolls into town this week, featuring the biggest lineup ever and an all-vinyl DJ spin-off that will keep crate diggers buzzing. Finally, artist Joey Terrell's pioneering pieces are on view at several galleries around town now, offering a fresh look at queer Chicano art that still feels vital. Keep an eye on these and you'll have plenty to fill your calendar. And now here's Terrence with sports.
Los Angeles sports pulse beats faster as schedules shift, rosters reshape, and momentum builds. The Dodgers' 27-season calendar just dropped, and the early season road swing in New York stands out as a prime revenue test. With the All-Star break already behind us, the front office's muted schedule hype suggests a focus on roster flexibility over marquee matchups, forcing fans to scout value in every series. Harbaugh's Chargers entered the offseason with a thin depth chart, yet safety Daunt Jackson, fullback Alec Ingold, and versatile tight end Brennan Thompson have quietly outperformed expectations. Their underrated play could reshape special teams assignments and give the coaching staff flexible packages as Los Angeles chases a playoff berth. Tommy Edmonds' walk-off single in the 10th sealed a sweep that erased the sting of the Brewers' loss, propelling the Dodgers into a winning streak. The clutch hit energizes the middle infield and signals that the rotation's late-season durability will be a decisive factor. Emmett Sheehan continues to cement his spot in the rotation with another strong outing, while Blake Trainen's fourth consecutive scoreless inning in Triple-A signals a full-time bullpen return is imminent. Their progress gives Los Angeles a deeper pitching arsenal heading into the stretch run. With Tyler Glasnow slated to rejoin the staff, the Dodgers are eyeing a weekend start from Shohei Ohtani, adding a rare two-way option to the rotation. Simultaneously, catcher Will Smith's rehab assignment accelerates his return, bolstering the depth that could prove vital in the postseason. The Rams' dominant 34-0 win over New Orleans highlighted a rejuvenated reserve core, and Jarquez Hunter's breakout performance in the third running back slot reshapes the depth chart. His emergence forces veteran competition and gives Los Angeles a versatile ground game option as the season's second half approaches. Stay tuned, Los Angeles. The next chapter is just beginning.
Thanks, Terrence. Veg-ER in Beverly Grove just opened its doors, bringing a health-focused menu to this bustling corner of Los Angeles. The restaurant serves plant-based, nutrient-rich plates from grain bowls brimming with roasted vegetables to smoothies packed with adaptogens, catering to locals who want flavor without compromise. Its arrival adds fresh competition to a neighborhood already known for trendy eateries, giving diners another wholesome option within walking distance of the Grove and the Museum Row. For a city that prides itself on culinary innovation, VegER shows that sustainable, delicious food can thrive alongside the glitz. It feels personal because it reminds us that the best way to nourish Los Angeles is to feed its people. Coming up, the new California bill simplifying seizure of abandoned stocks and the Santa Clarita fire that razed businesses. Stay with us. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. California lawmakers are advancing a bill to simplify seizure of unclaimed stocks and mutual funds, aiming to streamline handling of abandoned securities and return value to the state. Wesley Tran has the full story.
Lawmakers in Sacramento are pushing a bill that would let the state take control of unclaimed stocks and mutual funds with far fewer steps. Under the proposal, a single court filing could start the process, and the state would be able to hold the assets for up to 5 years before selling them to fund public programs. Supporters say the change is needed because California already has billions of dollars in dormant securities that sit in limbo, tying up money that could otherwise support schools and infrastructure. Critics caution that the streamlined approach could reduce protections for original owners. The measure is expected to move to a committee vote later this month. Wesley Tran, GMNA News, Los Angeles.
Firefighters are battling a blaze that has gutted several historic storefronts in Santa Clarita's Newhall district, leaving the commercial complex heavily damaged as crews continue their response. Noel Kirkpatrick has the full story.
Flames erupted early this morning in the heart of the Newhall commercial district, swallowing the storefronts that have lined Main Street for generations. Firefighters arrived within minutes, battling a blaze that leapt from one historic shop to the next, sending thick black smoke curling above the rooftops. By midday, the fire had reduced several long-standing businesses to charred skeletons, destroying original wooden signage and brick facades that residents recall from decades past. The blaze forced the evacuation of nearby pedestrians, and crews worked through the afternoon to contain the flames and prevent further spread to adjacent buildings. No injuries have been reported, but the loss of these cultural landmarks leaves a stark void in the community. Noel Kirkpatrick, GMNA News, Newhall.
Thank you, Los Angeles, for joining us on the local sunset. Tonight's heat wave coverage reminded us how resilient our city can be, even under stifling nights. We appreciate your trust in our reporting and look forward to bringing you more of the stories that matter. See you tomorrow for another Sunset View.